Good evening, councillors. The meeting is opened at 6 p.m. Meetings of committees of council convened under section 5.8 of the Local Government Act of 1995 are subject in part to the City of Wanneroo Standing Orders, Local Law 2021. For the avoidance of doubt and in accordance with clause 9.6 of the Standing Orders, a committee's presiding person may determine that a committee meeting will be conducted in full compliance with the Standing Orders, including these sections which are not explicitly stated to apply to committee meetings. This determination to be effected by declaration by the presiding person at the opening of the meeting. And as the presiding member of the CEO Performance Review Policy Committee, and in accordance with clause 9.6 of the City of Wanneroo Standing Order Local Law 2021, I declare that all provisions of the Standing Orders will apply to the conduct of this meeting, and we are open at 6 p.m. I do acknowledge the councillors, staff in presence, and also to our Ms Hardcastle, who is our person that looks after our CEO KPI and performance. This meeting today is being held on Wujak Noongar Boodja, and I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I thank all past, present members of the community that have supported the city to better understand the value of Noongar culture within the City of Wanneroo. Also, please note that the audio-visual proceeding of tonight's meeting will be live, broadcast online, with the exception of matters that will be discussed behind closed doors. The broadcast of the proceedings of the meeting can be accessed live and on demand through the City of Wanneroo YouTube channel. Attendances will be as per the record, but Mayor Aitken is online and she is a delegate to this committee, and I accepted her in before the meeting, and Councillor Huntley is online as a observer. I will ask, I don't have to ask any of that. Let the record show, as I've said, that Mayor Aitken and Councillor have been authorised by the Council to attend the CEO Performance Review Committee by the electronic means in accordance with the details as signed in the request forms. Mayor Aitken, will you now declare, prior to participating in the confidential part of the meeting, your declaration?
Thank you. I haven't got a copy of the declaration with me, but I declare that I have no one in the room with me, and there's no one able to listen to this, and that my internet connection is sound. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Aitken. I accept your declaration. Councillor Huntley, can you please make the same declaration so you continue with the meeting when we go behind closed doors? You're muted.
Unmute.
That's it.
Oh, you have to hold thousands of buttons down. It's crazy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I declare that I too am the only human in this building, and as such, I can guarantee. Oh.
Thank you, Councillor Huntley. I accept that you are the only person in the room, and the little ears of animals won't be participating during this meeting. Apologies and leave of absence. We have Councillor Rowe, who is leave of absence until the... yes, he's on leave of absence. Item 3, I do need a mover and a seconder for the minutes of the CEO Performance Review meeting held on the 4th of May of 2026 to be confirmed. Councillor Wright is the mover. I'm happy to second the item. Do you wish to speak to the item, Councillor Wright?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, being that there are no speakers against the item, can I have Mayor Aiken, do you support the item, or everybody support the item? Thank you. That's unanimous with those present in the room. We'll go on to reports, which is, obviously, councillors, if you have any declarations of interest, just bring it up at the time. So reports 4.1, which is a 2025-26 Q4 corporate performance report, which I believe is being done by the CEO. CEO.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. If it's okay, I might just run through a couple of slides to summarise this report to cap off the year, if that's acceptable.
Of course it is. Go for it.
Wonderful. So in terms of the highlights from Q4, as per Q3, we continued to have a very high level of achievement with regard to the council plan initiatives. We finished the year about 92.6% or 87 out of 94. In terms of the top performing capital projects across the year, the project portfolio totalled 75.1 million against a combined annual budget of 78.1 million. If we go back to the previous quarter, that number sat at about 57.3 million, so you can see the progress that was made in the last, and just to avoid any confusion, that's not the total capital program, which was some 130 odd million. That was just the top capital projects that are assessed from a risk-based size and importance perspective, and we sort of measure those separately to the entire capital program. And we did make significant progress on a number of quite major projects, such as the Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre, Brazier Road upgrades, Rotary Park, and very happy to see that the Girraween Hub also moved forward quite considerably during the year under review. So in terms of the overall status of those projects that flowed through the council plan, as you can see, 92.6%, broken down by the different goals within the council plan is outlined here. This is all in your report, so I won't go into too much detail. In terms of the projects that were deferred, and I just want to touch base on one of those particularly, there's the council meeting papers and portal solution upgrade, which we will continue to work towards in the next review period. But I did want to speak briefly to the construction of the new Wanneroo Sports Hub. There was an issue highlighted earlier. This particular project, from an update in terms of the community hub, and also the site assessment is being presented to the August Strategic Projects Working Group meeting with a decision that will go before council in October this year. So the explanation there is potentially a little bit misleading. I think there's a fantastic opportunity at that next Strategic Projects Working Group for the elected members to make it very clear to the administration how you want to push that project forward, including capitalising using any of the needs and feasibility that's previously been done, rather than repeating and replicating that particular process. In terms of the next few, tied up in the system consolidation project from both a CRM and a property and rating system perspective, and I do note that councillors asked for continual updates in terms of the different enhancements that we make from a CRM perspective across this year under review. In terms of the sustainable facilities model investigation, we did change our focus slightly. We were doing a lot of work last financial year in the co-locating of community facilities within commercial precincts. We are looking at that in a bit more detail to see what the best way to do that from a financial sustainability perspective. So although the project has been deferred, I think we're just refining the scope of that one a little bit more before we come back to council with a position. And construction of the Wanneroo Animal Care Centre has been deferred because we just still need to make a decision on the Ashby site to see whether we're going to stay there. We didn't want to invest a significant amount of money on the Ashby site if we do decide to move to Neerabup. And the last one there is a review of the community development plan, and just with the Reimagine process going on at the moment, we have decided to defer that one just to let that settle, and then we'll move into completing that particular project. In terms of the top projects, we sort of ran through them before. There was a variance, we call it a favourable variance, but that was just the difference between what we spent in the budget. And as I said, there was significant progress made on some key projects across the year. In terms of an update on the CEO KPIs, which is almost the subject of the next item, we have there that the KPIs are all on target. They've essentially all been achieved. And one of the ones that I wanted to put on there, the target around the council member CRM turnarounds currently sits at 9 days. We've set a target this year in our PDRC process to see if we can get that number down to about 5 days. We are looking at streamlining the process. We're looking at the approvals to see if we can get that number down quite considerably. We thought we'd set an ambitious target and see if we can achieve that across the year. So that's cascading down from myself to directors, managers and all other staff. In terms of the capital program completion rates, there's been some great improvement over the last couple of years. The target is 90%. There is a slight variance there. That is how the budget was amended across the year versus what we completed. If we measured our initial adopted program against what we achieved, it sat at about 97%, so you can probably see the variance there. And a lot of that at the end of the day comes down to cash flow. We obviously forecast out to the end of the year what we're going to need as we get closer. And there is a couple of very large projects in there, and I think about the Alkimos Arc as an example. We'll sit down with the project managers and they say, look, we might need another few more $1 million leading into the financial year, and then a couple of weeks later it's less, and then it's more, and it sort of comes and goes across the year. But to achieve over 90% is still a tremendous outcome. In terms of how the capital program completion rates have changed over time, an exceptional result of $133.9 million. Very proud of what the team has been able to achieve, given the size and also the percentage completion rates. There's a lot of local governments that really struggle from a capital perspective, and I think we're doing a tremendous job in terms of delivering what we say we're going to deliver each and every year. In terms of the CRMs that I spoke to before, we've currently got that number down to 9 days on average, and I think all of you could probably give some examples of ones that haven't been completed within 9 days, but on average it's 9. As I said, we're going to try and get that down to 5, and we're really hoping that we can, I guess, sort of start to see some of those improvements once we've implemented some of those new processes and removed a couple of approval hurdles that we consider not to be necessary. And just a couple of additional points to cap off 2 significant projects that have gone exceptionally well across the year. The first one is the Alkimos Arc, arguably the city's largest project that we've ever delivered, is on time and on budget and scheduled to open later this year. I was on site only a couple of weeks ago and it's looking absolutely fantastic. We also made some significant progress and continue to make some significant progress in the waste management space. It's been an issue that has plagued us from a risk management perspective for many years. We now have the Wanneroo transfer station open, and we've obviously made some big steps in terms of getting Nearab up and running. So that's essentially the fourth quarter review. Happy to take any questions, Chair.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any questions of the CEO before we ask for a mover and a seconder? Councillor Wright.
Thanks, Chair. Just one question, or it's probably more of a statement in regards to the CRM side of things. I thank the council support team for being transparent around sort of following up with some of the CRMs. I think we're starting to see a lot of pain points now is around managers and getting response from the individual service units, and certainly I've encountered that through certain service units. So is there any sort of actions or controls being put in place around sort of managers or directors following up with the relevant staff to be able to get those responses? Because it's not so much council support now, it's more from the actual service units and the delays.
CEO.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Wright. Through the Chair, that's why we've made it a KPI for directors and managers. So when we sit down and do the performance review, and I've done 2 of my directors so far, that KPI has cascaded down and then will cascade down to their managers. And as you know, what you don't measure, you can't really improve on. So this will be the first time that it's really found its way into the performance review process. So I think with that focus, you're naturally going to see a change. I've also sat down with the directors because we all had slightly different ways of doing things. Some of the directors, all of the approvals were going sort of through them and then out to councillors, and sometimes it can take 2 or 3 days for a director to, review the response and go back a couple of times. So we started to question how much value are we actually adding in that process. Our managers are incredibly talented and capable people. So we're basically just removing the director from that process, and so I think you'll see a big turnaround. And when I talk to the directors, you know, about how many changes they're actually making to a lot of these CRMs, often there's not much, if anything. So we'll give that a go, and if we need to make some changes, we will. But our CRMs that go out to the rest of the community follow a similar process, so I can't see why that's shouldn't be the same for councillors. And then you'll stop to get that difference between a community member receiving a response before the elected member does. So we'll see how we go.
Anything else, Councillor Wright?
No, thank you, Chair.
Mayor, do you have any questions? Mayor, would you like to move this item? And a seconder, Councillor Wright. All those in support of the Q4 corporate performance report is unanimous, because I'm the only one that has to vote. Okay, Mayor and Wright. So I just need a procedural motion to go behind closed doors. So our next item, which is item 5, is confidential. So I'll move for the item, and Councillor Wright seconds the item. That the CEO Performance Review Committee move into a confidential session to discuss item 5.1 under the terms of the Local Government Act of 1995, section 5.232. Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, thank you. The doors are now open. Just an announcement by myself. The recommendation was passed unanimously by councillors that were present at this review, that the Chief Executive Officer Performance Review Committee recommends to Council that a report prepared by Ms Helen Hardcastle for the Chief Executive Officer's 2025-2026 Annual Performance Review, as set out as Attachment 5 for endorsement by absolute majority, and considers increasing the CEO remuneration to the maximum allowed under the SAT determination for a Band 1 local government, and increases the professional development allowance to be the same as council members. Thank you, councillors. With that, there are no late reports. The date of our next CEO Performance Review Committee meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. on the 16th of November of 2026 to be held in this chamber. And I close the meeting at 6:43. Thank you.